strange, perverse, masochistic challenge. Most people just want to be good. This is their leisure time. They don't want to have the hassles of having to learn something. They don't want a bit of learning. A little bit of learning is satisfying and good. But they don't want to continuously being beaten around the face, told that they have to get better before they can achieve stuff. They just want to be good. This is Wii Tennis. I'm sure many of you have already played this. I'm going to cover this game a bit more later. I'm not going to talk about the controls now or anything like that. But you give this to my mum, and within 30 seconds, she will be getting a few balls back across the net. You can give this to my gran, and within a minute, she'll probably return 1 or 2 shots. And that's great for them. They don't have to sort of like keep failing and getting better. They can instantly just have fun. People just want to have fun. I've got a nice cheesy Sony lifestyle shot there to prove it. Okay, so this probably isn't very apparent, but over the last 5 years, I think I've designed 60 rounds for Buzz. Most of these are just on paper. And out of those 60 rounds, I think 15 have made it into the final game. So what is it? Why did some rounds work and other rounds not work? Well, these rounds all did work. These rounds are all in our games. We've got point and picker. All you do is you select a category. It might be sport or general knowledge or history or something. And then you answer questions on it. And if you're right, you get points. We've got top rank. This will be an ordering thing. Maybe you have to put these films in the order they were released. And if you're right, you get points. Fastest finger. If you're right, fast, you get more points. Pie fight and point steal are both quite similar. The person who's fastest gets to throw a pie or steal some points. They're all really simple rounds, and that's the point I think you can probably see I'm getting at here. These were some rounds that didn't make it. They haven't got nice graphics because they only ever existed on my design document. But take sabotage, for example. This round, the idea was, at the beginning of the question, everyone would have to look at their buzzers, and if your buzzer flashed, it meant that you were a traitor. And if you're a traitor, then you have to get the question wrong, and you have to convince all the people who aren't traitors that they have to get it right, but they, at the same time, they still want to get it right themselves. And you can see what the problem with this is that if I try to put this round into a game, the first question, no one knows what they're doing. Second question, maybe some of the sort of the more gamer-type people might be getting some sort of inkling. Third question, people are getting there now. Gran's still completely confused. By the end of the round, most people might have just about got it, but no one really enjoyed it because they didn't really know what they were doing. So lesson 3, just keep it simple. There's no need to confuse your players because if people aren't quite sure what they're doing, they're going to give up. They want to have fun, and you're not letting them have fun. You're putting barriers in their way. Okay, so that was similar, on a similar note, actually. Oh, sorry, well, I forgot about this slide. We've proven this. Okay, so yeah, this has been proven as well through focus tests. Earlier this year, we hired this lab in London. It's one of these sort of like double-sided interrogation rooms where we can get groups of friends to come in, play our game, and we can sort of film them doing it and ask them all these comprehensive surveys afterwards. And we found out what their favourite characters were. We found out what their favourite buzzer sound is. It was the burp. But we also asked them what their favourite rounds were. And it actually turned out their favourite round was the round where if you're right, you get points. And their second favourite round was the round where if you're right fast, you get more points. And as a game designer, this is really depressing. We've got rounds where you have a bomb which you throw between yourselves, and you throw pies, and you steal points. And these rounds are fun, and these rounds took us a lot more effort. We spent far more time and money on those rounds. And as a game designer, I know that we need those rounds. You can't just have the bland rounds. Otherwise, your game will lose flow. It needs this flow. It needs this sort of like roller coaster structure flow where you have like highs and lows. And we need that to give the game a sense of pace and progression. But just taken on their own, people liked the really simple stuff. And the simple stuff's good because it's cheaper to make, it's easier to design, to a degree, and in some ways. Okay, and so here's another point I want to make. This is obviously, as I've told you, this is Buzz version 1, and this is similar to the Buzz we've got now. Which version is more welcoming? I can do a better example, actually. My mum won't play this game. If you just take 1 second to look at it here, we've got, 10,000 people in that crowd. We've got floodlights, 3 floodlights, beaming down on this player. He's casting all these shadows on the ground. We've got the camera behind the player in this sort of like, come on, give it to me, sort of intimidating action. And if my mum plays this game and she misses the ball, she's got 10,000 people all laughing at her. She's going to feel really sort of, I don't want to play this game because if I muck up, I look really bad. I feel bad inside myself. Whereas this is, again, Wii Tennis. And look at it, Nintendo, by the way, do this better than anyone else. Nintendo have got a real knack for just making things welcoming, fun and friendly. But if you look at this, you've got 2 people in the crowd. You've just got, like, it's a nice sunny day. They're just having a bit of fun between themselves. It's really non-intimidating. If you miss the ball, does it really matter? It's just a little knock-around game. And so, yeah, if you're going to make a game, make it approachable. Don't scare your market away. Again, if you're making a game for gamers, it's okay to be a little bit scary. They like the adrenaline of having to combat all these odds and stuff. But if you're trying to appeal to everyone else out there, just welcome them in. Don't scare them off before they've even started playing. Okay, so those were like the 4 big lessons that we learned whilst making Buzz. But I'm not going to lie, I fully accept that it would have all been for nothing if it wasn't for these things, the buzzers. Now, what we've got here is, I don't know if you can see this very clearly, this was actually the initial prototype. This was the first picture that we drew of them. We always knew from like day one that we really wanted these in the box. And it was a bit of a challenge convincing Sony to do this. They had to really put a lot of trust in the game that they hadn't seen yet, or seen released at least, and order 4 million buzzers from China, and then spend 8 weeks shipping them from China to England. So it was a lot of money, and they were worried that they could just foresee another ET debacle where there was like a big landfill in a desert, which they were filling up with our buzzers. But we needed these buzzers. I'm not going to lie here. I mean, it hasn't changed much. This buzzer has got 4 coloured buttons and 1 big red button. And that's all that our buzzers are. And when we were making our games, the press, to be fair, were a little bit wary about all this. Back in 2003, I think it was, Sony released the iToy camera. I imagine most of you, there was something a bit similar to it out in the lobby there. But it's just a webcam that you plug into your PlayStation, and you look at it, and you do things with your body. You sort of like, you burst bubbles and stuff by flailing your arms around madly. And the press were quite impressed by this. They were like, yeah, this is great. This is something that you can't do on the PlayStation. Or at least you couldn't do. And then the next year, in 2004, Sony released the SingStar mics. Again, just really obvious. It's just karaoke on your PlayStation. You sing along to your favourite Madonna track or whatever. And again, the press were like, okay, well, the iToy was good. Karaoke, starting to get a little bit tenuous here, but we'll go with it for now. And then the next